Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get this Facebook Live set up also. So 1 second. Let me scoot that over just a little bit. Okay, I want that in the way of there. Okay. Good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I promised that I would try to make it a point to do a live TikTok slash Facebook Live at least once a week, maybe twice, to have some dog talk. So this is going to be our first live for the week. I'm going to deal with one subject today, a very short subject. I'm always getting calls and messages from people on social media asking me about stud dogs, particularly as it relates to the American Bully, because people know that I have dealt with that breed before, and then the breeds that I'm dealing with currently, which is the Rockwell and the Cane Corso. So oftentimes people who are interested in breeding, they contact me and they want to know about stud prices, whether I have a stud that they can use or whether I know somebody in the city or state that they're in that I can make a recommendation for. Let me say something to you all about this. I do not make recommendations to use other people's dog lightly, because every kennel has a specific way that they like to do business. And even though they might have a good dog, I might not be favorable of their business practices. And I'll make my point by this. I think it was probably yesterday, a brother went live and he was complaining about a guy that he had a deal with on breeding his dog. He bred this guy's dog. From what I understand, this guy was supposed to give him half the litter, a nice litter of puppies, and they didn't have a contract. And this guy is reneging on giving him half of the puppies. I disagree with both sides for a number of reasons. Number one, I do believe if you're going to do business and it's important to you, you should do a contract, okay? Kind of legally binding contract, so that if somebody defaults on their contract, you don't have to run to social media and argue about it. You can literally take them to court and get a judgment against them. So that's first thing I want to say to those of you all who are coming up with ambitions to be a breeder. Do those contracts. You can know somebody, you can have a handshake, you can have a word of mouth agreement, but when money comes into play, people start moving different ways. So you want to be professional, and the best way to be professional is to start out with whatever your agreement is, put it in writing in a legally binding contract between you and that other party. Okay, our subject today is, we're talking about stud value evaluation. We're talking about stud fee. Okay, there are a lot of people who have dogs, and when you look at them, they look good. There are a lot of people out here that have dogs. When you look at them, people say, "Oh man, this dude got the best dog around. He the best breeder. It's the best this, the best that." And my question to you is, what is the process by which you evaluate a dog to say that a dog is this super nice dog and he's worth all of this money to be studied to, or he's not worth all of this money. He's a trashy dog. What yardstick are you using to measure when you say that this is a good dog or this is a nice dog? What is the yardstick that you're using to measure? How do you know this? Do you know it just because somebody said it? Or do you know it because you have personal experience with the dog? Have you seen something behind the scene? What makes you say that this dog is a really, really nice dog? Okay. So I'm going to use 3 dogs as an example. I have Kennel, Eben Kane, Bishop, Von House Mazen, and then Hitman, TK Hitman, TK's Hitman. Let me give you some background on these dogs. This dog I purchased from the Martins out of DeWitt. This dog I actually bought the mother when she was pregnant. She was imported from Serbia into the United States. This is the puppy I ended up keeping out of several puppies. This dog here is a dog that I co-own with one of the top breeders out of Serbia. She's known all over the world. And I actually co-own this dog with her. This is me and her dog. That dog lives here in the United States in my kennel with me. Okay. And is available to stud to females and married. I will talk to you later on about what does it mean when we say female or married. Why is that so important? Okay. So when I look at pricing, I have some prices beside these dogs. If I was studying them out right now as they are, what would the price be? Kano, we paid about $750 for him. He is 6 years old, 7 years old. He has produced quite a few litters without any issues. If I was studying him out, he would be $750. That means that I should at least at the minimum be able to sell his puppies for $750. Okay, this is a good way to evaluate. It's a good way to set your price. So if I'm studying him out at $750, why is it that I'm studying him out at $750 and then down here I'm looking at this dog, he's costing twice as much? It's a reason for this. Okay? Number one, there are certain genetic health tests. Listen to what I'm saying. Because people get it confused. They think when they go to the vet looks in the dog's eyes, put the stethoscope on the dog's heart and lungs and listen to it. Look at the dog's stomach. Look in the dog's ears. And they say you can get what is called a USDA certified health certificate on that dog for them doing that. I've sent dogs all over the country. Some certain states require a health certificate. That health certificate comes from a basic, non-evasive evaluation. The only thing evasive they may do with that dog is checking that dog for parasites. That's the only thing. It does not give you anything as it relates to the genetic health of the dog. Okay? So there's a difference. So this dog had only one genetic health test performed on it that it passed. Only one. And that was the JLPP. The JLPP relates to 3 breeds. One of them is the Rottweiler. The other is the Black Russian Terrier. We do that test on Rottweilers and Black Russian Terriers because if this dog is a carrier and it is bred to another dog that is a carrier, 9 times out of 10, those puppies will end up being paralyzed by the time they are 6 months old. Paralyzed. It is a genetic, neurological defect in the genes. So we test the dog with a swab in the mouth, we send it out, and the AKC sends it to another company, and they say either this dog is a carrier or he is not a carrier. You do not want to breed two carriers together. So the ARC, the American Rottweiler Club, which is the parent club of the AKC, as it relates to the Rottweiler breed, they recommend that if you're going to breed the Rottweiler, at least one, either the mother or the father, should have a JLPP test done. No exception. So that's the only test. There are multiple genetic tests that you can do, but that's the only test that he had performed on him. Okay? So that's one of the things we look at. When we look at hep testing, we're talking about looking primarily at what we call, in the dog world, the dreaded diseases. Diseases that lead to early death, crippleness, lameness, blindness. So we check for that. The more genetic health tests you do that your dog passes, the more valuable the dog becomes. So if I have somebody that's breeding a Rottweiler and they saying that they want $15, $18, or $2,000, the first thing I want to see is what type of genetic health tests have they performed on the dog to be able to ask that much money. Because what these genetic health tests does is, when you look at the genetic health test, it gives you some assurance that you have a mother and a father that do not have these illnesses that is going to be passing down through the genes to the offspring. Raises the value of the dog. More tests you clear, the more value the dog becomes. Okay, so let's talk about that as it relates to these dogs. He had one test done. We have not used Bishop yet. Bishop has had 0 tests done. It's $1,000 versus his $750. That's right there for a reason. I'm going to explain that in a minute. Then there's Hitman. Hitman has JLPP, hips, elbows. He has the highest score that you can get from Germany. He has the highest score you can get on hips and elbows, and he has passed his JLPP. Are there some other tests that we can run on him to raise the value? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we will do some of those tests. But these are the primary tests that the ADRK, which is the parent club internationally of the Rottweiler, all over the world. These are the tests that they say you got to have these tests done before you breed the dog. JLPP, hips, elbows. Okay? There are other things that they recommend, but that's the basic as it relates to genetic health testing. Let's go to Bish. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, let's go to the second thing. So that's the first thing we look at. The second thing we look at is confirmation. What is confirmation? What does confirmation mean? Does confirmation say, does it mean Joe Blow across town say you got a good looking dog? Not what it means. Does it mean Susie Jane, because you produce some nice looking puppies, does that mean that there's confirmation? No. Does it mean because you got a good pedigree that that's confirmation? No. Confirmation means, official confirmation means, I have taken my dog to a professional, to a scholar, to somebody that has professional training. They have looked at that dog, particularly in the 7 structural areas. What are the 7 structural areas of the dog that we want to pay attention to? If you go to the breed standard, they're going to talk about the ears, what type of ears your particular breed should have. They're going to talk about the head, what the head should be like. They're going to talk about the neck of the dog. That's 3, right? Then they're going to talk about the front end assembly of the dog. They're going to talk about what is called the top line or the back of the dog. Okay? Then they're going to talk about the rear end assembly of the dog, which is the six structures. And the last thing they're going to talk about the tail. So when we're talking about conformation, we're talking about with a professional expert eye, we're looking at these 7 structural parts. And we're saying that this dog, when we compare this dog to what the breed standard is, it fits. That's conformation. It ain't what you think. It ain't what you like. It ain't what you went to sleep and dreamed about. It ain't what Joe Blow said. It's what is the standard? Does the dog in the 7 structure areas meet the standard? So when you go to this dog, Bishop, he absolutely meets the standard in conformation in those 7 areas. How do we know that? You just talking, Muhammad. You just want to hype your dogs up. How do we know that? Because we took that dog to Balna, Arkansas, put that dog in front of 2 different judges from outside of the country that was flew here. And he got a V2 and a V4 rating. Got a V2 rating on the Saturday, came back that Sunday, we got a V4 rating. V means excellent. And he got a critique. A critique is a printout that deals with those 7 structural areas and tell you whether they're in compliance or not in compliance. Then we took the dog down to Texas, Waxahachie, Texas. And there was another judge from England that looked at the dog. And he said that the dog met conformation. So when we went into Waxahachie, Texas, that dog took first place. Since there ain't no hype stuff, what somebody's saying, first place, then he came back and he took best overall puppy. So a month later, we took him in front of another judge. This 4th judge, he didn't win in front of him now. And that judge said not only does he meet conformation, but this dog can win in the United Kingdom. This dog can win anywhere in the world. So conformation meets those 7 structural parts. That's why the price is like this now. Once we put these health tests on him, that $1,000 price is going to go up. Right? It's going to go up to about $1,500. When we do all of the health testing, when we pay the money to the vet to get the x-rays and get the swabs and all this stuff and send all this stuff to the scientists, and they scientifically look at it and they clear it, then his value is going to go up. Okay? This dog we didn't do like that because when we started to health test, he was over the age that we would like to do the hips and elbows on, so we didn't test him. We actually rehomed this dog. This dog is living in Malvern with one of my exes now. She took the dog on and she has the dog. Okay. So this dog here never been in front of a judge, never been in front of any professional for confirmation. This dog has 4 times. This dog has multiple times. Okay. So when I bought this dog, he was a junior champion, which means junior champion in the Rockwell Seagull world means you become a champion before you are an adult. You competed, you got enough points, competed against enough dogs, been in front of enough judges to where they have awarded you the title. So he has a title from Serbia. He also has a champion title, junior champion title from Macedonia. I know I told people that that he was turning 2 years old on the 12th, but I made a mistake. He's going to be 2 years old on the 20th. He got 2 more days. He'll be 2 years old. Okay, he has already competed in open class and has achieved 1 point toward becoming an adult champion in the United States. He needs four more points to become an adult champion in the United States under Urkel. We're working on that. He's going to be in San Antonio, Texas. He's going to go down to Georgia, and he's going to come back up to Arkansas, and he should be presented to, in those shows, those 3 shows, he will go in front of 5 different judges from different places around the world. Okay? And they're going to deal with confirmation. So, now let's go down. The third thing you want to look at is pedigree. Now, when we look at pedigree, we run right back up to genetic help and confirmation. When we look at 3 generations in the pedigree, we're looking at the dog parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. How many dogs is that? Somebody in the dog world talk to me. When you look at the parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents, how many dogs are we looking at? We're looking at 14 different dogs. And we're asking ourselves, if we look at these 14 different dogs, just on one side, on the mother's side, on the father's side, 14 different dogs, 14 plus 14 is 28. If we take one dog and we look at 14 and we multiply 14 times 7, what do we get? About 98, I think. So we're looking at 98 different pieces. So when we go look at the pedigree, we're asking, what is the genetic health of those 14 dogs? See, this is why I made the moves that I made at the time that I made them. Because I wanted dogs, if I'm going to build a breeding program with a strong foundation, the first thing you have to look at is genetic health. You can't go no further. I don't care how good the dog looks. If you do not have a foundation for good genetic health, you're going to produce some dogs that have very bad health. You're going to send these dogs to homes of people who don't know anything about genetic health, and they're going to constantly be at the vet paying a vet bill. I didn't want to do a kennel like that. So I brought in dogs that already had those genetic health tests done. Their parents had them. Their grandparents had them. Okay. I brought dogs that been in the show ring. Their parents been in the show ring. Grandparents been in the show ring. And they have achievements because they have met the confirmation standards. So when we deal with pedigree, we're looking at 14 dogs. If you're breeding to this dog, you want to look at the 14 dogs, right, on his mother and father side and those 3 generations, and you want to ask yourself, do these dogs meet the genetic health that I want in my kennel? Do they meet the confirmation? And when you're dealing with Rockwellers and you're dealing with secret shows, you know, they give you a printout. You can go and get on the computer and research and find out whether the mother and the father, just by getting on the computer, that they have genetic health tests done. Because it's in the system. So it ain't no somebody saying something. There is documentation from scientists that say, I ran this test. These are the results of the test. Okay? When you have that in the pedigree, it raises the value of the dog. The more information you have, the more good, consistent information you have, and then who is the mother and who is the father of these dogs? And I'll just deal with his mother. In his mother case, this dog's mother is a world famous female Rottweiler by the name of TK Black Mamba. She is a world champion, which means she has competed against dogs, not just dogs in one country, but dogs around the world, and won in confirmation. And she has the help test. When I look at him and I go to his father's side, not only do I see the genetic help test done, I see confirmation, but I also, by studying the pedigree, I can tell you why the breeder who produced this dog bred the male to the female in order to produce him. Just by looking at the pedigree. Okay? So, you're building value. That's why I tell people when you buy a dog, a Rottweiler, I encourage you, if you're going to be a breeder, I'm going to encourage you to get on the team and go to the shows. Because if you go to the shows, you're going to do what? You're going to get the confirmation ratings. And then when you start getting toward that 15-month period, I'm going to say, hey, bro, hey, sis, you need to do the hips and elbows on the dog to go ahead and get them cleared to raise the value of your dog. So I understand why some people stud their dog out for $500. Not a good dog. Dogs don't have that much value. You're going to stud them out for $5. But when you build the value of that dog through your work, through these tests, through confirmation, through your travel, through your training, through all of this stuff that you do to build value, then you're able to ask for more. Nobody's going to do all of this work. Go travel all around the country, go to shows, get all these health checks, and then tell you, oh, you could breed to the dog for $500. It don't happen like that. That's they smoking crack. Now, you got some folks that smoke crack out here now. But they don't do all that work just to give all that work to you for free. Don't make sense. So, let me talk about the last element that we use to correlate to this. And the last element is locations coupled with or versus the market. What is the market like right now? Okay. What is the location? I was fortunate enough to breed with a brother last year, I think it was last year, who charged me, I ain't going to tell you what he charged me to breed with his dog. But I asked him early on, I saw the dog, I liked the dog, I wanted to breed with the dog, wasn't sure which female I would use. And then when I mentioned it to him, he said, well, I've been charging people this, but I'm not going to charge you this because I remember you asking me before this dog got all of these achievements, I'm going to charge you this. That brother came to Arkansas from Texas and picked my dog up and bred my dog for me. If you are in the game and you're networking with people, you can get some really, really, really good deals. Because everybody is going to the shows, contrary to popular belief, we want to see each other win. We want to work with each other. I want to be able to breed my dog to your dog and see you take one of those puppies and bring it in the show ring. And that puppy has some achievements. So that now I could look and say, you know what? This dog has these achievements. This dog come from my kennel. I contributed to those achievements. Am I making myself clear? So we're working together. And that's why I tell these dudes, if you have a female and you come to the show, you're not limited to the dogs that's in your city, or you're not limited to the dogs that's in your state. When you go to a show, you're seeing dogs from all around the country. And in some cases, when these people are coming into the country, you're seeing dogs from all around the world. Now, you don't have a narrow selection. You have a wide selection. You're seeing 10, 15, 20 dogs you can breed to. Now you're expanding your network. And when you expand your network, you're expanding your net worth. So I don't just encourage you young brothers and sisters to go to the shows just to be encouraging. I want to see you take a dog and I want to see you build value in that dog. Am I making myself clear? So you don't have to go. See, there was a time we had to send all the way across seas to get the right male we wanted. Now there's been so many dogs imported into the United States by people who are serious that what you can get in Germany, what you can get in Serbia, Croatia, and these other different countries is right here in the United States now. Okay? We used to be in Arkansas and we used to look at the people in other states. But because somebody rose up and started to teach, educate, inspire, and motivate, now we have some of the top dogs in the country right here in Arkansas. You ain't got to holler about, oh, I got to travel all the way to Michigan, New York, California. No, we got them right here. And we got the credentials to stand behind the dog. I hope that I've helped you all in understanding, everything is not on the same level. The person that only went through elementary is not on the same level as the person that went through junior high school. Person that went through junior high and got past that is not on the same level as the person that went through high school. The person that went through high school is not on the same level education-wise as it relates to formal education as the one that went through college. So these people are building value by sacrificing time, talent, and effort to build value. Am I making myself clear? I want to make this very plain. So the person that says, there's some people that they hear a price and it's okay, I go breed with this dog and I'm going to pay this. I go breed with this dog, I'm going to pay that. And then they make a decision to go breed to the cheapest one. They don't realize that they making a decision to lower the value of what they got when they should be trying to increase value. See? I'll close by saying this. I heard Oliver Newbrand say, you cannot, I'm paraphrasing, you cannot make anything magical happen without taking a slight risk. Okay? I sent thousands and thousands of dollars halfway around the world to bring in pregnant females. In doing that, I took a slight risk. Even those who invested, they didn't know, hey, the female could have got sick on the plane, could have lost all the puppies, she could have got here and not been a good mother, could have ran into all type of calamities. But in being an investor and investing and wanting to see something magical happen means that you're willing to take a slight risk, because if you don't take a slight risk, nothing magical, nothing significant, nothing great will ever happen. And that's why so many breeders stay at the bottom of the ladder, because they're unwilling to invest. They're unwilling to make the sacrifice. They're unwilling to work strategically. I'm not talking about no pipe dream. Strategically to build value. That's what I'm here for. It's my job to educate those who are coming under me so that as I get older and I fade out of the scene, 15, 20 years from now, I'm able to see them really, really shine, because I am delivering to them the education, the inspiration, the motivation to take the game to another level. Thank you all for listening. I hope that I've said something that will cause you to think better and to move better. Peace.